Okay, we're back with Vid vs. Addy. Two really interesting games so far. I am tempted. Actually, I feel like I may have. Nah, it'll take some effort. It's going to pop open the solver on the side. Vid has gotten a horrifically bad hand. We can see he has a rare. Rares are terrible. And he has arguably four cards for the same corner. In fact, inarguably, let's say, four cards basically for the same corner. You can argue 8772 and 8771 are semi corners for one, and that 6817 is a semi corner for nine. But it's four cards that are best in the same corner, and that's going to be a huge struggle. I think as much as Vid is the master of confusion and delusion, this has got to be it, right? How do you survive this? Yes, I hear what you're saying. 1885 and 1 is safe. To which I say, look at the rest of your cards. If Addy plays in 4, say with 7781, how do you continue the game? How do you play there? You have no setups in 5. 8771 sets up 4 but not 8. And this is not one of those Akiyama setups where you only need one square. I think you probably play in 2 or 3 here. And then you just hope they give you squares. Like, wherever Addy goes, it's going to start surrendering some squares somewhere, and you hope they're good enough. So you chuck one of the 877s in 2 or 3. The argument for 3 is opposite corners are better than far sides. The argument for 2 is you need the game to be up-down. But honestly, Addy's hand is pretty good up-down. It's not even clear you have an advantage there. You do cover anything Addy can put in 1 or 3, because Dragonlance has 1 use. But you don't have things to... I guess you have 1885. You have a card you can land maybe in 1 or 3. You can dream? So I think you can dream about 2, but the discipline move is probably chuck one of the 877s in 3. I'll be curious to see what Vid does, because again, Vid is the absolute master of confusion and all things strange. So, curious how this goes. What's your bet? You could also chuck Dragonlance in 3. That's probably better than one of the other cards. I wouldn't chuck Dragonlance in 2. I'd probably keep hold of Dragonlance if I was going to go 2. But if you're going to go 3, it's kind of nice to have the 7 facing out, though. Though actually 7486 just covers it so easily. I was thinking only 8357 can flip that, and you would play against that with Dragonlance or 6817. But actually 7486 is just such a clean capture. Do you care? You can play 1885 in 3, but I don't want to give up my only card that is like at all anything. It's distinct from my other cards. It's just so clumsy. It's so annoying that like 6817 has the 7 facing out, and Addy has a weakness to the right, but 1488 covers it. Anything you might think, ooh, there's something that like can take advantage of a weakness in Addy's hand. You then look for a second, you go, oh, nope, that's covered. All right, I'm betting on 2 or 3. My confidence in this, if I was watching a Delhi game here, I'd be pretty confident he was seeing this similarly. And I would think he's going to play in 3. Watching a vid game, who knows, he might play in like 6. He's not, no one's going to play in 6. Can't be 6, right? You probably are stuck with a faraway square. Nope. Completely wrong per usual. He goes 8. Okay. Yeah, I need to check next 2 squares that aren't captures more than I do. Because, like, who cares that you're locking in the opponent's card? You're never taking that card anyway. There's no world where you are. Now, the downside of this move is it doesn't direct the game at all towards anything, but the upside is you can build out from this. If Addy goes in 4, he cannot set up a threat in 5. And you can just go 8 with safety. Not with an 8 up. I think you have to use Dragonlance, but obviously you're happy to get that horrible card out of your hand. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So Addy should probably be looking at blocking 9 himself. And there is the question of, does he go 9 and take, or does he go 9 and be safe? Both ways, he's going to grab a card and he's going to concede a card. Now, there are two kind of ways to compare this. One is, if you go in 9, you are conceding 8. You might have play against it later, but you don't control where Vid plays next on the board. If you go 1, 4, 8, 8, and 9, Vid's probably going to have to go 6, and he's going to have to go 6 with one of his 2 cards that don't have a 1 facing down. So it's going to be kind of annoying for Vid to grab that card. He can't really grab it with 8771 because that's comboed. So you're going to force 1885 out of his hand. And maybe that has benefits. Maybe you can check that and you decide, yes, that's very good. The argument for doing it the other way and starting with 8, 3, 5, 7, and 9 is, which card do you want left over? And you may well want 1, 4, 8, 8. That seems like a card that might hit the action better as these 2 moves go. I'm not sure. I think there's a case both ways. I don't have a... I think you got to do some calculation, and I am lazy, and this is what the 5th game I'm commenting on today. I did really not much commentary for TTAC, but I did talk, and then I did these 2 previous open games, so I'm out of calculation for the day. I'm working entirely on heuristics, and I'm saying the heuristics there were unclear. He goes 1, 4, 8, 8, and I was kind of drawn there too, and Vid hits him with the huge, hilarious setup of 8, 7, 7, 1, and 5, which I completely missed. Oh, this is such Looney Tunes. What a silly way to play, but it probably works to some extent, right? What a hero. Setting up sames and pluses with 6, 8, 1, 7 that guarantee to lock in 8. Oh man. This is just such ridiculous triple triad, and it's gonna work, isn't it? Is it really? Kind of think it is. The key line I'm calculating is 8, 3, 5, 7, and 6. 6, 8, 1, 7, and 4 makes it 6, 4 Vid. 7, 7, 8, 1, and 1 makes it 5, 5. Vid has no captures, and 7, 4, 8, 6 almost sweeps him, but he can sneak 1, 8, 8, 5 into 3. Is Vid going to pull this off again? Jesus. And Addy's going to again play it like the way I'm saying. Addy has played a very sound match so far. Just very I'm going to do the correct, solid, reasonable thing to do at every point. And Vid is going to do the most ridiculous Looney Tunes move at every point. And all ties. All ties. What a plan. What a plan. And very clearly planned. He very clearly chose this card for 8. He quick played 5. He saw this in advance. If you don't see this in advance, don't you use 8, 7, 7, 1, and 8, not 8, 7, 7, 2? I was thinking, if Addy was going to go 8, 3, 5, 7, and 9, you have to check if they have the double setup from 5. But you usually don't have to check that if they don't have a flip of 8, and you just played with a 1 facing out. This is this is something you probably should check for, but it feels so out of the normal range of things to look for, because again, you have a 1 facing out. What a goofy position. 8, 3, 5, 7, 4 is probably also a tie. Can you go 2? Is there any point in that? I don't think so. That's just giving Dragonlance play. You don't want to give Dragonlance play when you don't have to. Yeah, I mean, you go 4 or 6, and you feel sad. Oh, what a deranged player Vid is. Nicely done. I like everything Addy has done in this match, basically, give or take. And I dislike not everything because you're never going to dislike everything, but I dislike about 50% of the possible moves that is made. Obviously, late game is pretty automatic. I'm not including that when I say that. But of the kind of early moves, I like find 50% completely deranged, and they're all working. So that's fun to see. That's what you want. Yeah, so he goes 4. I was drawn towards 6. I think it was because I thought 7781 and 7486 combined a little better in the aftermath of that. For instance, if Vid goes in 6 now, 7781 and 1 now loses. Right? You just have a worse version because you didn't pick up a card. So you instead go 7486 and 3, and sure, you do tie, but it feels a little clumsier to me. Not a difference, though. Going to lead to the same result. Unless I can't calculate, which is entirely possible. They're probably going to speed this endgame like they did the others. Indeed, 68176, capture in 3, capture in 2, capture in 1. And we have another tie. What a goofy game. What a fantastic hold by Vid. I bet it was lost, but like certainly non-trivially, given what happened. Man. Alright, let's go check the Discord, see if anyone said anything goofy about that. Incredible display of confusingness. I know all the words. There's a comment in Bugs and Sugs. I would assume the comment is going to be, Vid must have glitched to tie that game. No, but it is Vid saying it. Saving rule sets is currently bugged, probably when the new decks would be involved. That makes sense. That would be a likely place to have a new glitch. Don't know how Vid saved that one. That was ridiculous. Did I get the move order correct on the last game? 3, 2, 8, 5, 7, 6, 9, 4, 1. I did. Sweet. Yeah, what a deranged game. Alright, well, let's do another. I think this will be my last. If they tie this one, I just don't think I'll have energy for more. Okay, so you're Addy. You check Vid's hand first. You see an 8 up, but very little else up. You see a 7 to the left, and very little else to the left. You see an 8 to the right, and honestly, not much else to the right, and you see a lot of power down. So you're going to start at the top. Is 1, 4, 8, 8, and 3 good? Is 5, 7, 8, 4, and 1 good? Well, 5, 7, 8, 4 gives them, they have double coverage via plus walls. Probably not that one. But 1, 4, 8, 8, and 3 is probably the desirable. Though there is a case for you'd really like to get rid of one of 4, 8, 8, 5 and 5, 7, 8, 4. But I'm actually not so sure as it's going to play out that's going to be so bad. So let's say 1, 4, 8, 8, and 3. Are there any double setups? Let's check, is there a way in 5 to set up 2 first? 5, 5, 8, 5 needs a 5 facing up, doesn't have it. 4, 8, 6, 7 needs a 6 facing up, does have it. We'll come back to that. 8, 4, 8, 2 needs a 4, does have it. That will work. Okay, so there's a bunch of ways. Maybe just the one way. Let's keep going. 6, 6, 8, 5 needs a 6 facing up. We already mentioned that. And 6, 6, 7, 4 needs a 7 up. We don't have that. If you play with a 6 facing up, can you also set up 6? The answer is no. It will have a 6 to the right that does not set up 6. However, if you play with a 4 facing up, if you play 4, 8, 6, 7, and 5, that does set up 5, 5, 8, 5, 4, 6. Now, I think you could still go for that. So, for instance, 1, 4, 8, 8, 3, 4, 8, 6, 7, 5. Say you played, I don't know, 8, 7, 6, 4, and 6, so you're safe to combo through. If they feel the need to play 8, 4, 8, 2 in 2, if you could grab that safely, but I guess you can't grab that safely. Your 8s down are all covered. So sometimes you can kind of walk into those things just because you've got a great card for 1. But here you don't have a great card for 1. Might be harder to find a starter here than it has any right to be. Another thing you can do is just chuck a card in 4 or 6. And that might be the right thing to do here. Probably 6, just given your hand. Maybe 4. And just make the game side to side because they're clearly better up down than left right, and just a lot of their cards will be really unhappy to see a side to side game. So like I don't even think the specific card matters that much, but like say you chuck, I don't know, 4, 8, 8, 5, and 6. Random move and just saying, I think you don't want a side to side game. I think all your cards are going to be bad now. And like you're probably right. I don't know. I expect to see a corner. All right, we do see 1, 4, 8, 8, and 3, and we do see it met by 4, 8, 6, 7, and 5. Now, my initial idea was 8, 7, 6, 4, and 6, but I think this is not a very appealing idea because you don't have a great reaction to 2. Or do you? It uses their only 8 up, so actually 8, 7, 6, 4, and 1 would be safe. But we kind of need 8, 1, 8, 7, 6, 4 for 6. Do you just kind of pretend this didn't happen? You play like 4, 8, 8, 5, and 1 and go on with your life? Yeah, I don't love that. It's kind of annoying. You don't have both squares. You do have 2. You do have 5, 7, 8, 4 for 2. And you do cover anything that can take that from 1. Which means there's a chance you can go, I'm not sure there's a card for it, but there's a chance you can go 9 here. Because if you go like 4, 8, 8, 5, and 9, and they feel obliged to take 6, then you can play 2 and you might have a nice position. I'm really drawn to 9. I'm not sure how I want to handle 9, but 4, 8, 8, 5, and 9 just feels like a playable move to me. I know they can go 2, and you don't have 6. We didn't set up 6. Yeah, it's probably not so good. It just feels. I feel like I want to play on the right side of the board. I want to commit to this. And I love that we have 2 cards that have a plus wall in 4. I'm trying to play in a way that leaves 4 open as long as possible. Yeah, if I had to make like a 3-second move without thinking here, I actually think I play 9. Sort of on the principle of if they're going to play 2, I want the squares left to be that left to bottom area. I think my sweepers are by far the best for that. Well, if I started in, say, 7 with a traditional slash, I don't think I have great sweepers for the variety of squares that are going to be left open. And I'd like to hit hard at the end. I don't know how to explain this super well, so hopefully I did an okay job. And I'm not at all sure it's correct. I'm just saying I see 9 as appealing here. It's a shame it doesn't set up 6. If it set up 6, it would be much more appealing. But like 6, 6, 5, 8 is just not where we want to be. 6, 6, 5, 8, and 9. We don't have 8 at all there. And it's a card I kind of want to hold on to because I think it's useful to cover 7s facing down from 1. I think that's relevant in some lines. Okay. He does use 4, 8, 8, 5, but he plays it in 7. This is a move I mentioned. I assume Vid is going to go in 2. There's a lot of combo potential through 5 at some point, but nothing you can do about that. If you go 2 and Addy plays 5, 7, 8, 4, and 1, you combo it, you're happy. If he plays 8, 7, 6, 4, and 1, you can combo it as well with 6, 6, 8, 5, such that even if they combo back through 5, it doesn't flip 1 and 2. And if they take with 6, 6, 5, 8, they have given up their combos in 6 and 8, and so you can play in 4 without fear. So if you go 2, I think Addy's plan is probably to go 8. It's possible it's to go 6, but 8's the more standard square. And he has decent sweepers for this endgame, but not amazing. And you've kept 6 open, which is a really nice plus for you to have. And if he goes 6, it's left 8 open, which is also a nice plus for you to have. So either way, you have some room to maneuver. So I assume we're going to see 8, 4, 8, 2, and 2. That seems normal. But I'm not sure. The standard thing to do when you can lock in a card and when you have play against any captures they haven't returned is to do so. Haven't really looked for alternatives, but not entirely sure why you would unless you think leaving. So there's a benefit to leaving 2 open, which is that Addy can't really play there. Both Addy, imagine that 2 and 6 are the 2 squares left at the end of the game. Addy can't go in 2 because Vid will take 6. And Addy doesn't really want to go in 6, and he'll take 6, comboing through 3 to flip 2. And Addy has difficulty playing in 6 because Vid will play in 2 and combo through to take 6, unless the card in 6 is 8, 7, 6, 4. But even then, if 5 ever flips, it gets tricky there. So you could see 2 and 6 being the last 2 squares at the end of the game. What does Addy have left? Well, if he has 5, 7, 8, 4, Vid plays 2 and Vid wins. If he has 6, 6, 5, 8, Vid probably plays 6 and is in pretty good shape. If Addy has 8, 7, 6, 4 left, you can play either. So there is a case for leaving it all open. I like to grab cards when I can. I like to have concrete things on the board. But Vid, in his strangeness, does not like to do this. And yeah, he just very different stylistically than me. Okay, he does go 2. Throw that all out, and Addy quickly plays in 8. Okay. Which flips 5. That's really important. So let's say Vid plays 6, 6, 7, 4, and 4. And Addy plays 1. Addy will double. So Vid will have gone up 6, 4. Addy will flip back 3 cards. So he'll be up 7, 3. And then Vid plays 6. That flips 5, which flips 4, which flips 7. Goes up 6, 4. But Addy has the 1 flip left at the end with 8, 7, 6, 4 that he needs to hold the tie. Yeah, there's probably not a great way to avoid this. If you start by going in 1, say with 6, 6, 7, 4, then Addy just takes it with 8, 7, 6, 4, goes up 6, 4, and going in 6 is safe, but only flips 1 card back. There's nothing extra to flip. Okay, so the other thing you have going for you if you're Vid is 5, 5, 8, 5 has a combo in 4. Of course, it will always be met by a double capture back, so you need to pick up an extra card somewhere. But if you go in 6 and you combo back, you're not picking up an extra card, you're just grabbing your own card. So is there a case for going in 9? One downside to going in 9 is 8, 7, 6, 4 now is much better because you had to play with the 6 up. Yeah, I don't think there's a win here. I think it's pretty close to a win, but I think it is not a win. You're definitely spending your time looking for a win, But yeah, he's already played in 4. He gets flipped from 1. He's going to play 6. That will flip 3 cards back. He will be up 6-4. But 8-7-6-4 at the end does just enough. Very interesting games. Really fun match here. I kind of hope they don't keep playing and play again another day, because these have been, I think, really neat games. All right, we will call it there.